Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's live. We're doing it a little early this week because we're headed to Hack Your Health here shortly. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you guys have any questions, please put them in the comments today. I thought I would defend my position, and this is weird for me to say that obesity is a disease. And hear me out when we go into that. But before we do that, just wanted to say today's video is brought to you by my provider, Mochi, which I want to share a little bit because I actually took a break from them because not from them, but from ordering prescriptions, because when we thought that there was a scare, we thought we were going to lose access. And so they were allowing us to do our refills a week or two early. And I was doing that. And next thing you know, you got a whole stockpile. So I took a little break and I just ran out of my stockpile. So I rejoined and I was so excited to see the updates on their website. The provider that I had was amazing. He was an MD. And what was interesting, it was 11/5. I don't remember what day of the week that was, Wednesday, 11/5. And at 8 p.m., I realized I'm almost out. I look at the scheduling and there's an availability at 10 p.m., which is way past my bedtime. But I was like, wow, that is some serious availability. So I had my appointment that night. He sent my prescription right away. I slept the next morning, paid for it. So Thursday, I paid for it. It was sent to the pharmacy the same day and I received it on Sunday. So 4-day turnaround time from, hey, I need a prescription and I haven't seen anybody and I've been on hold I haven't done anything in a long time. I have to meet with a provider and everything and reestablish, and to prescription in hand. What also was amazing, they updated their website. They now give you choice of who you want to work with. So I picked one that had methylated B12 because people don't realize, because they don't tell you, that most B vitamins from compounding pharmacies are synthetic. People don't realize that. Almost all of them. Even, don't quote me, but even Hollandale has like Bio Boost and different B vitamin complexes that you can order compounded, and they're all synthetic. So it's pretty exciting to be able to order methylated B vitamin. So it came in the mail. They send the cutest boxes, and oh shoot. Please don't look at my address. I'm gonna have to like snip that out. Anywho, the cutest little boxes here. You get the thermos, and then they send you your packs with your syringes and alcohol wipes. And I think there was directions in here. And previously they would send like 2 cold packs. This one actually has 2, but I swear there was 3. Hold on, let me look in this other one. And I'm going to guess it depends on who sends it. So this one was one pharmacy. So I had ordered NAD Plus and I ordered my Tastee, so it came 2 different packages. I'm going to end up with like an abundance of these. They did send us, see, these guys sent me 3. So I'm just going to end up with tons of these. But I love these thermoses. They're awesome for traveling. They keep things cold for like literally days. It's awesome. And I've traveled a lot through the airports with those. So they're really nice and reusable. And I'm excited that they re-implemented that. If you don't have a provider, I highly suggest them because they have over 100 different medications you can choose from. And now we have so much choice in our ordering. I just ate and now I'm like hot. So I forget where I was going with that. Oh, they have a lot of different pharmacies you can choose from now. There's just a lot more options. And then the NAD Plus, I got 2,000 milligrams for $189, and that price is crazy because usually it's 1,000 for $250. I feel like I won because I like higher dose. This is not medical advice. Start low, go slow. You don't want to just top out, but a lot of people can feel pretty amazing at higher dose. It's just if you're going through $250 a week, it can get real spendy. So that's why I wasn't doing that before. Hey, what did you eat? Lots of carbs. No, I had eggs and cheese. And there is a little piece of bread here. And I had 4 eggs. I don't eat all my bread. But there was a piece of bread and 4 eggs and cheese. But maybe it's the bread because I shouldn't be eating nasty white bread, even if it's wheat, whatever. I guess that can be making a difference. And we can have the carb talk again because I have more thoughts on that. I also think it's really interesting. Michaela Peterson recently came out and said that she has been healing and that she was able to add carbs back. And I think this is a conversation that should be had more in our community, which is there is something off if you can't stand the other foods at all. if it's giving you gut issues, blood sugar issues, food noise, there's something off. And I do believe, because I had it pretty chronic and I have a surgery, which makes it worse, I do believe it's healable. Now, for me, I couldn't find balance without supplementing my digestive hormones. And I know people will talk down about that, but it's made all the difference for me. Semaglutide may be sold in some form as Alzheimer's prevention soon. They're going to keep adding different. There's been research to indicate that it's good for so many things. It's even showing to reduce cancer, like 6 different cancers. It's showing a less likelihood of getting that cancer. So they're just going to keep stacking on as many things as they can, and it's pretty easy to prove it. With me, I have chronic inflammation. This has lowered my inflammation by so much. That first month, I lost 15 or 20. The first couple of weeks, I lost 15 pounds. And every time I up my dose, I actually lose more inflammation. So this is where, that's a new thing about Mochi too. They're going to start doing microdosing. What that means to me as a person sharing people is that if you have been ketoing and carnivoring and you've been lifestyling and you got a huge hunk of your weight off and maybe you've been maintaining it, but you've been stuck, or you go up and down and you have to be absolutely perfect, something is off. You have put in the work to get your weight down. However, it took a lot of work and it's tough to maintain, and you never got to your goal. Well, you don't traditionally qualify for GLP-1 even through telehealth. But with it under the microdosing scope, more people will qualify, because now we're looking at it. Well, you may not be technically obese, but you have chronic inflammation. You have the other different conditions, like it runs in your family with Alzheimer's. So we can start you in on a lower dose. And as I look at the other companies that are doing this, I think it doesn't mean actual microdosing. I think it means lower dosing. And for people who are doing a lot of lifestyle, I think that's going to work for a lot of people. It's not going to work for everybody. It's not. But I think a lower dose with people who are heavy lifestyle people, I think a lower dose can really work. The max dose I ever took was 7.5. And I never took it at once. I took 5 every 5 days. So I guess that's a 7. So the max dose I took was a 7. And then I accidentally started half dosing myself because of bad math. And I was like, why did I gain like 5 pounds overnight? I knew it was inflammation. I couldn't figure out why the inflammation came, because it came on so fast, but I knew it was inflammation, and it's taken me months to realize. Some providers were sending in a tiny vial, and some providers were sending in a big vial, and the big vial has twice as much fluid, which means to keep the same dose, you have to inject twice as much fluid, and I didn't change the math. So the good news on that one, which my husband told me, don't tell that to anybody because you're supposed to be leading people, and that's really dumb. The good news is that I gained some inflammation back, but I was easily able to maintain and keep my food noise at bay and be in control and eat my food on a lesser dose. So I'm actually kind of grateful I accidentally did that. I know you might be thinking, well, gosh, if you're supposed to be the expert and you can screw up the math, what about when people go the other way? That can happen, and I definitely have heard of it happening. However, you only do it one time. You realize, whew, something feels not good. And then you go double check your math. And if you have some side effects, it would be a couple of days. It is unlikely it would be this serious thing. But it depends on where you're at and what you did. But people make mistakes. But when you go the opposite direction of what I did, you notice. And I should have noticed half dosing myself. I really should have all of a sudden been like, wow, why can I eat so much more? But I didn't. There were times when I ate more, but I just figured that's good and healthy, that sometimes we eat more and sometimes we eat less, and to ride the wave and see what happens on the scale and see what happens with my inflammation and just see what happens. And I think every day is an experiment, and we just got to keep going, work with your providers. I am seeing there was a time period where some of the Mochi providers didn't seem that good, but the provider I just had was phenomenal. I was talking to him about how I had heard that there are like 6,000 genes they can point to that can be mutated that can affect a person's level of obesity, which would be why some people are having more severe obesity and some people are having less, because perhaps they have the 6,000 gene mutations, where maybe some people only have 100 gene mutations. And sometimes we're born with it, and sometimes it's happening from our environment that we're exposed to. So there is a genetic component. Hey, I love you too, Lewis. I love you too. There's something I don't think that I reiterate enough, and that is that I am not high carb. I have a lot of healing to do. I know that they're saying, oh, high carb is so great for you. I just have a hard time buying it. And I've experienced so much hardship with carbohydrates that it's going to take me time. Yes, I've added berries. Yes, I've had some squash. Yes, I've had a piece of bread, but it primarily needs to be meat, and it just needs to be slow for me. And so I want to apply that same exact thing to people who are carnivore, that maybe I believe I'm seeing a time and a place for carbs. I think that, some things aren't required, but they are necessary to be optimal. And in some populations, I'm seeing people not feeling optimal on a long-term carnivore diet. So then they would feel more optimal adding carbs. So there's a time and a place for it, but not everybody's in that time and place. And honest to goodness, I was at the Karen Miles meetup and a friend was there with me, and she was like, listen, I'm telling you, these carbs, you need carbs. And even in, I think it was the end of June, I was like, you just don't get it. Like, I can't add carbs back because I get hypoglycemia. So I don't care what you tell me. I personally cannot do it. And so I understand that position, and I'm only newly moving out of that position. So I get where people are carnivore. They're feeling peace. They're feeling success. They're feeling good. And it doesn't matter what you tell them. It's not the right time or place. And I completely respect that. It does take time. I am eating about 50 grams of carb from low histamine vegetables. Yes. Ooh, I can't wait to see. Lewis, are you going to Hack Your Health? Ellie's going. I cannot wait to see you guys. So speaking of Hack Your Health, if anybody is like, hey, I'm already having FOMO, I should really go. I know someone giving away a conference ticket, so you can go to the conference for free. And I think the current price is $350. But if you really want to buy your ticket, you can use code BLCarnivore to save $100. But we have an amazing place to stay. And I think there's one queen and some twin beds available. We have an amazing group of people staying with us. We've got Karen Miles, Crystal. Why can I not think of Crystal's last name? We have Nora Kemmerer. I always say her name wrong. Rachel Gard. Just like the most amazing people are coming to stay with us. And I'm sorry, I know that I missed the other 6 names, 10 names, whatever. I'm sorry. I mean, every single person who's staying with us is amazing. And I filled up a suitcase of stuff that I'm putting into goodie bags, and it's going to be so much fun. And included in your stay at the Radically Healthy Airbnb are, first of all, the funniest carnivore pajamas. I only budgeted for carnivore foods because when I started this, that's what I was budgeting for. So the house is going to be filled with eggs from the 2 Crazy Ketos, cheese, sausage, bacon, heavy whipping cream, organic coffee, maybe some sausage. Those are the things that we have budgeted. So it's going to be very carnivore heavy. Not everybody that's staying with us is on peptides. It's a third of the people are not, and they're just strict carnivore, coming to hang out and have some community. So if you don't do peptides, that's cool. You'll still fit in, I promise. The only people who would struggle to fit in are people who think people who eat meat are bad, because we eat a lot of meat. Thursday night when we arrive, because my Airbnb is 4 nights, we're going to have a barbecue at our house, and it's going to be so much fun. Ellie, you're totally invited. Oh, yes. You're coming too. Lewis, you can come over on Thursday too. Hey, are you guys both going to the Kilts? We're going to the Kilts dinner on Friday night as well, many of us, and we're going to take the shuttle. Okay, what have people been asking lately? So one thing I get a lot of feedback on constantly, is that I just didn't lifestyle hard enough. And there's this one very sweet man, and it's so cute because he said his wife found the perfect diet for him, and it's carrots and chicken and peas, I think. And he said, if you intermittent fast plus you eat this, it's going to be the ticket. And that's what we all think. When we find something that works for us, we are convinced this is going to work for you too. You just haven't tried it yet. And unfortunately, I honestly think, and there's a whole spectrum of why people are on this, and I call it obesity, but there's more to it than that. Nobody would call me obese today, right? But I definitely have the disease of obesity, and I'm going to call it a disease right now because I don't know any way to actually cure it. I know ways to work around it. I know ways to avoid it. And now we have these digestive hormones we can supplement that can get to the root of the problem. So at least your hormones are communicating, but you come off that diet, you come off that hormone, and you're back in the same spot. I will spend my whole life looking for a cure for this, how do we actually heal it? And I don't personally believe that there is any diet on earth that actually heals the signaling that's not happening. And I think that's for a couple of reasons. Number one, this seems like such an easy thing to fix, but apparently it's not, is our enzyme balance in our gut. I was listening to Dr. Scott Schur, and he has a podcast. It's called Smarter, Not Harder. And if you guys want to learn new things, definitely go there. They're very functional, okay? Functional medicine. And they were talking about fecal transplants. Poop talk. I think we have a banner for that because I shared this with the Lioness Lifestyle Live. I think there's a poop talk one, but in here. Anyway, and they said you have to be very careful with fecal transplants because if they don't vet it properly, you could end up with obesity after getting somebody else's fecal transplant. So you could permanently get the disease of obesity from their transplant. So the chemical balance that's happening in the gut has a huge role to play. And all the people were telling me to eat carrots and chicken and just work out harder and intermittent fast. And you didn't do primal bod? Well, that's why you didn't succeed. Oh, you didn't do the leptin diet? That's why you didn't succeed. All these diet variations. And it's like, I think I tried enough diet variations, honestly. I mean, I was so bullheaded about this that I exhausted it to the very end. And if lion diet makes you feel significantly worse, at that point, you're just kind of like, I know some people will say prebiotics, probiotics, fermentables, but when you have chronic inflammation, you have a big holy gut. And what I experienced was that the histamines and the different chemicals inside of the broths and stuff would leak into the ferments would leak into the bloodstream, causing an immune system reaction, causing me to feel sick and inflamed and not actually heal. So I don't believe in those things. Poop talk, right? There's a poop talk in here, right, Ellie? He was so trying to be so nice, and it was so cute that he was like, my wife found this diet for me and it works and I am so happy. And I was like, oh, I can't be mad at you because you were honestly trying to share a solution that worked for you to give it to me. So when we look at obesity, and when I say it's a disease, it's because of the signaling. And maybe you saw, I made a reel yesterday. I was feeling a little bit spacey, so it ended up like 2.5 minutes instead of 60 seconds. But essentially, I was playing out, what is it like? And you don't realize that this is there until it's gone. And once it's gone, this is where the GLP-1 people are stomping on the ground and going, you don't get it. Because I experienced one thing and now I'm experiencing a totally different thing. And you can't tell, there's no debunking this experience. So I've done experiments where I half dosed myself by accident. And then because I thought I was still taking 5 every 5 days, I was like, I'm in maintenance. I should try to spread this out. So I tried spreading my half dose out week, 2 weeks, instead of 5 days. Instead of 5 days, doing 9 days, 14 days. I don't remember what the longest was, 16 days. Start spreading these out. And the food noise came back. And when it comes back, that's when you realize, wow. You don't realize you are having positive or negative food thoughts constantly. And we'll call it food thoughts because it's not always necessarily I need to eat right now. It's also, what am I going to eat? What am I going to eat? Why did you eat that? Don't do that. Stop grazing. Don't eat before bed. Why do you always do this? It's these food thoughts, and they come into your mind, and I don't know. We're very repetitive, so it's probably worse than I'm about to say, to be honest. But let's say you have a food thought every 1 minute or 5 minutes, because it seems to be, it can be like that, okay? So like you tell yourself no, you sit back down, you get to work, and you're like, what am I having for lunch again? What am I wonder if there's anything here I could snack on. Tom. Oh, why did I eat that? I just spoiled my lunch. Ooh, I just spoiled my blood sugar, blah, blah, blah. So let's say you have a food thought on average every 3 minutes. That means in a day, if you're awake for 28, or if you're awake for 16 hours, you had to tell yourself no 2,880 times in a day. And it's telling yourself no, or having that thought, or it's intrusive at that point. And if you spread that over a week, you had to have you had 20,000 food thoughts in a week. And when it's gone, you just eat your breakfast, and then you go do your work. You don't graze. You don't think about it. You don't, nothing. You already ate your breakfast. You're full. You're good. And then lunchtime comes and you go, ooh, what should I eat? And you eat your lunch, and then maybe you eat a dinner too, because I'm trying to eat like 3 meals, and I definitely think it's okay in my situation, trying to heal my hormones and my adrenals, to give myself a snack here or there. And this is how my husband has been living his whole life. So the guy can literally eat, and I've told you guys this before and you don't believe me, a bowl of noodles. And hey, Michelle, I love you. You're superhuman too. He would eat a bowl of noodles with butter on it, and then forget about eating for literally 24 hours. Like completely forget about it. I mean, the guy doesn't drink enough either. So he's just having no consumption thoughts whatsoever. He doesn't bite his fingernails. There's no oral fixation. He doesn't chew gum. Nothing. There's nothing. So you wonder, why is he not 500 pounds even though he eats a bowl of noodles? And I struggle to not be obese constantly. It was a daily struggle to not be obese. Why? Well, he's not battling that food noise thousands of times a day. And so when people are like, well, you're just not trying hard enough. And it's like, you have no idea. I'm literally trying 2,000 times a day. And then me personally have been able to string through years of restricted eating and years of working out 5 days a week, sometimes more, sometimes 3, but mostly 3 to 5 times a week for years. Like, do you guys realize how amazing you are when you even string together a day or two and you're having this digestive hormone dysfunction? And here's the next piece. That's just the brain piece. The other thing you sense after you get a digestive hormone supplement, like GLP-1, like I like tirzepatide because it's 2 digestive hormones that they are antagonizing to work properly and signal better. So we got these 2 hormones that are actually working. The other thing is, everything I ate before caused weight gain. And now I can eat more than ever and even added foods back. And this morning I was 131 pounds. This is the lowest I've ever been since I was probably 8. You know, and but like muscular, okay? We're not going for scrawny here. We're going for healthy, strong. So on top of the food noise we're battling every single day, the body also isn't properly digesting the food. It's not properly turning it into energy. It's improperly storing it into fat. And it's just, and your blood sugars are over the place. The blood sugar swings can cause the inflammation. The inflammation can cause the disease. And then it goes in this big vicious cycle. So this is why I say obesity is not a lack of willpower. It is an actual disease. And I hate the word disease. I want to say condition, because I believe one day we're going to find an answer to this. So my next goal in life, and I know we have to say positive, but I'm trying to be a realist here. I know people who went through nursing school. It was insanely difficult. And they play all kinds of games with you to try to get as many people kicked out and blah, blah, blah. They don't want a bunch of people to be nurses, apparently. So I know that the schooling is insane, but I would love to be a nurse practitioner. I would love to understand completely on a deeper level some physiology And I know nursing school isn't necessarily a bunch of physiology, nor is it a whole bunch of nutrition or energy production, which is what I'm looking for. But I'd like to get the certification so I can actually run labs, diagnose, help people, be super, super employable for my family and my friends. And I just think too, I think my sister's okay with me saying this. I guess I won't call it what it is. My sister has severe mental health issues, like severe, like clinically. And she knows it. This isn't like, I'm not trying to be mean. And she struggled with this her whole life. And you either see the sweetest, most generous person in the whole wide world, or you see someone who is so much struggling that she sees nothing but red. And I so deeply want her to work with Dr. Scott, sure. But they also have a son with the symptoms that my sons have, but much more serious. And so she's got a lot on her plate, a lot of bills. She became a stay-at-home mom to be home with him, to take care of him because he was getting kicked out of every daycare center, everything. So she is home with him now. So there's like the financial burden and then to have to pay out of pocket. And so anyway, I hope to find, there are little bookmarks in everybody's brain, right? Or maybe not everybody thinks this way, but you have a bookmark for different people. I know some people who GLP-1 doesn't work for them. And so I got a bookmark. And the first thing that we don't want to do is go, well, are you tracking? Are you low carb enough? Are you exercising? Are you drinking water? They said that they are. So I believe them, that they actually need something else to help communicate in their body. I believe them. And so there's a bookmark for a few people who the GLP-1's not working for. Both of them are men, by the way. And then there's a bookmark for my sister. And, you know, we all probably think, maybe we don't all think that way because not everybody is Kelly Hogan. But Kelly Hogan does the same thing. She has a solution that works for thousands of people, but she sees the people who are coming every single week for years and they need an additional something. And she can't put her nose on it, but she thinks about it. I've seen many podcasts too that really question what happened here. What happened here? Is there a way to fix this? She wasn't afraid to have the carb talk. So I really appreciate Kelly and what she does, and that she bookmarks that people are not the same and has compassion. And you know who else does this? Karen Miles. You can have a conversation with her. Carnivore works amazing for her, but she still loves you if you eat carbs. I love that woman. Okay, I've been stalled at 200 for over a year. It's driving me nuts. Obesity isn't easy to manage. I agree a lot with what you're saying. It's so hard to manage. And people have different ideas too, you know, and we just discussed, I hope it's okay to say this, that you were looking into the thyroid and to see if there's any areas for improvement there. Do we need to supplement with the selenium, the iodine, or something else? And what's going on? You know, that's a great place to start when the diet alone isn't the ticket. And it's smart to be like, I tried really hard and I need something else. I've been a patient of 2 different PAs lately. I can see you becoming an epic PA. Thank you. Because it's obvious passion for healing and your life experiences. Thank you. I feel like I was meant to do it. And so I'm just going to pray that God give me the brain tools, because some days are so great and I just feel like I can spit the words out. And some days it feels like if I stop talking, it's blank. And it's very hormone based. And so I too want to work with Dr. Scott Shear because I'm pretty sure he has the answer. He said one thing to me after our call, and I tell you guys this every time because I cannot believe it. And I don't have it here because I packed it to bring it with me. And I said, you know, my son has behavioral issues and it's pretty severe. Do you have any solutions for that? And he said, Tromune. And I was like, what? What is that? You know, and he was like, well, your son's probably not sleeping very well. And he's probably not sleeping very well because he's probably having, I had told him too that he was having these, we had these inflammation labs running. He had that. And he said, take Tromune. It'll calm his immune system down. It'll calm his inflammation down. That will allow him to sleep better. And when he's sleeping better, he will stop having behavioral issues. And I kid you not, he is a different kid from this one supplement. We give him a microdose. And he was having diuretic issues, and those are gone as well. So it is, Dr. Scott's amazing. I think he's amazing. I heard AP. AP? Do you mean NP? So my thought is, so I looked. Should Adrian become a doctor, a physician's assistant, or a nurse practitioner? Ultimately, I would love to be a doctor, but I also don't want to go $500,000 into debt and spend the next 10 years doing that because I'm already 40, almost 42. What's AP? Can you type out what AP is for me? Advanced practitioner. So doctor would be great, but then there's the cost and the time. Then the second thought would be the physician's assistant, but they cannot operate on their own. And that is not what I'm looking for. Nurse practitioners in 25 states can work on their own, and in another 12 states, they can work under a practitioner, but in the rest of the states, they have to work like for a facility and can't work on their independently at all. And I think my goal would be to be an independent type of practitioner. But I don't know. It'd be nice. Wouldn't it be nice to just show up for work and not have to hunt for not have people find you, not have to like hope and pray people find you? I do have to say there's one doctor in town. She was a cancer doctor. And when the mandates went through 5 years ago, 4 years ago, that probably was, whatever it was, she quit being a pediatric cancer doctor because she wasn't going to do the mandate. And she started her own practice. And at first, I don't think anybody knew about her. And next thing you know, she's booked out for months because she's good. You know, she's really good, kind, and listens very well. So I wonder too if I could work with her or something. Because she saved Valmer and I's lives. And I think I've told you guys this before. I had caught the really bad virus at the end of my pregnancy with Valmer. And it got so bad that they were going to vent me and C-section him out. But I had aspired to a home birth. I also knew a respiratory therapist who said that they were putting these pregnant moms, they were taking the babies out and then putting the mom on a vent, and then the mom never came off. And so I was like, I would like out. I would like out. I would like out. Please let me out. And I barely hobbled. I mean, truly, like I was going to collapse at any second because I wasn't breathing. And I was so dehydrated, and they wouldn't give me an IV because it didn't go with the protocol. And I hobbled my way out of there, and this lady saved our lives. You were pushing a button prematurely. I'm trying to finish. Oh, okay. Yeah, look into thyroid. Oh, I haven't seen your new video yet. It's on my to-do list. I need to add that for our trip. I leave tomorrow morning at 8:40 in the morning to start heading towards Florida. I'm so grateful. It looks like it's going to be fine. I'm flying out of Minneapolis down to Tampa, and then I get to check into our Airbnb a day early, thank God, because I can sit down and get everything done and do the grocery shopping. We have a place for the 20 dozen eggs that I bought. And I'm so grateful, and I can't wait to get down there and warm my bones up. It is freezing cold here. Okay, somebody asked, do you need to take multivitamins every day, and what supplements do I use? My first disclosure is going to be I don't do enough. As a post-bariatric patient, you're supposed to take iron, calcium, and a multivitamin every day for the rest of your life. My problem became actually carnivore is when I actually religiously took it until I became carnivore, where I realized that all those vitamins were synthetic. I probably wasn't absorbing them. And not to mention, my levels were low while I was taking them. They were super, super expensive. They had a ton of chemicals and additives in them so I could chew them and swallow them. But also, what kind of insanity? You just removed my intestine so I don't absorb vitamins, and you want me to orally take vitamins? This is insanity. This is so stupid. So that's when I stopped taking all those vitamins. Now, the symptoms I have today, they come in swings, and it goes with my cycle. So it's not an overall everyday deficiency. Also, I've had my blood work done that since eating a meat-based diet, my nutrients have actually, the blood serum level, have gone up. And I stopped taking all those bariatric things. But here is what I do take. And again, I would take more, and I've had periods where I took more. But does anybody else out there get supplement fatigue? Because I have some serious supplement fatigue, like absolute fatigue to my soul. Even talking about it just feels like, Okay, so for my adrenals, this isn't a vitamin, but I'm taking pregnenolone and DHEA. work with a practitioner before adding those types of things, right? But I'm taking that twice a day, as well as my thyroid medicine twice a day. A lot of people are taking T4, levothyroxine. I take liothianine, the T3, but I also take NP thyroid, and I take those twice a day. I'm taking selenium and iodine, and my iodine is a standard process iodine that comes from kelp, which is supposed to be more absorbed and cleaner. And standard process is amazing. And this is something that 2 different doctors prescribed me. My local doctor, who I was just telling you about, plus my mold doctor. They both said that this standard process iodine was the most absorbable and the best. And to be honest, you don't taste anything. You don't have to add it to your water. So I really like that. And then I also take selenium. Before bed every night, I take magnesium breakthrough. The only place I seem to be able to find it, you can either buy it from them directly, or I just personally buy it on Amazon. It's on my Amazon list if you guys are looking for it. I take daily minerals from Keto Chow, and it's a bottle that looks like this. I also have, I have capsules as well. I ordered capsules because this tastes so bad. And even they admitted it tastes so bad. But I do, as a person who has the chronic inflammation and also on a GLP-1, both of those things can affect your body's ability to maintain your minerals. If you overdo the minerals, you're going to pee them out. So I personally am not seeing a concern with taking the minerals. I also do, I don't know if I should tell you guys, I still do Coco Loco. But I got to tell you, so I do Coco Loco right here, but don't be mad, Scott, because I'm working on, Scott Everson just started a electrolyte company, and he says that his minerals are like 80 times more clean than the electrolytes from Utah. And so he openly is saying, Redmond's real salt, Keto Chow, so he likes his minerals better. So he just sent me a sample pack, and I've been meaning to try it, and I'm really excited. And he donated some for our Airbnb so we can all try them. And it sounds really promising. He's got lime. There's a caramel coffee, plain, because we got a lot of purists. I was a purist until very recently. And then grapefruit. So he has these very clean flavors. He's going to have a booth at Hack Your Health. So get excited to try some new electrolytes, okay? But I'm sorry, I'm a Keto Chow lover. Coco Loco on ice. I've never experienced anything that tastes this good. Not on ice, totally different flavor, but on ice, a lot of ice plus Coco Loco. It's a winning ticket. You'll always get yours in. Ooh, let's see what you have to say. Hey, Dustin. Don't tell me that, Ellie. Don't tell me that. She says it's ice cold in Florida. It hit the 30s at night, but it's 56 right now. You're loving it? I think there is something circadian. They say there's a circadian that our bodies do actually like to get cold for a season. And admittedly, I was dreading the snow coming, but then we've had a few months of fall, and you just smell the different air. You see the different sunlight. You smell the foliage. And then when the snow came yesterday, it was like, okay, this isn't so bad. It's okay. It's okay. You're on a Biggest Loser binge. I have been interested in hearing how the contestants are doing now. Thank you. I am holding my weight at maintenance levels, apparently rare. Great job. So there's a reason that not many people talk, because they haven't figured out yet what's going to work for them. I definitely think a lot of people gain their weight back. I mean, I gotta be at least 80%, if not higher. And I know that the show itself will tell you the numbers were better than what I'm saying, but like, how many people can they just not even contact because they're in hiding? And I went in hiding for 8 years. I got up to 330 pounds. And that's when I said, I can't do this anymore. If I have to make lifting weights, doing cardio, and eating green beans and chicken my life, that's what I have to do, because I can't be 330 pounds. I can't live like that. It hurts so bad. You can barely get out of bed. You can barely breathe. I rode the scooter in the grocery store. And so every day since then, it's been, how do I, not be 330 pounds? And so I did different things. And every single time I would start just going back up, no matter what I threw at it, even lion diet, it would just start going back up. So I'm grateful to have found digestive hormones that are making a difference. What flavors our salt are going to be? Okay, hopefully you heard. They're going to be grapefruit, lime, caramel coffee, and plain. Let me see here. Why would he be like that with other companies who are so supportive of the community? I know, I tell them, be kind. Yeah. So my understanding with the Coco Loco and all of the salty electrolytes is that they get them from the Great Salt Lake, and they get their minerals from the top of the lake, and the heavy metals sink to the bottom, and that they do their own testing. So it's not like Salty isn't testing their minerals. They are, and they're testing clean. So I believe they're good. I also am very, very sensitive, and they just taste amazing. There's another company that's really, really big, and I never want to down talk them because even though I think their ingredients are kind of cheap, they have amazing customer service. Amazing. I was drinking them. My arms and legs were going numb. I didn't put one and one together until one time my husband went, and I was like, no, it can't be my electrolytes. And then I started doing experiments, and it was the electrolytes. So I called them and I said, this is happening. Is there something we could do? And they said, full refund and donate them to someone. And I was like, what? You don't want me to ship these back? I was willing to take a partial I was willing to take anything because it's not their fault that I'm reacting to their electrolytes. I don't know anybody else who reacts that way. That's what they said. Full refund, and please donate them to someone in need. I thought, well, this is a commendable company. So yeah. Coco Loco is your favorite too. I know I got you addicted. Sorry. But at least I got you addicted to getting your minerals in your water in. Florida is usually a hot dumpster fire. I know. I can't wait. She lives, I don't know if she wants people to know. She lives near Tampa. Yeah. I was hoping for snow today so I can make my own snowman. Aw. It was 24 in central Indiana. Yeah, that's about what it is. Oh no! Really? It says the Great Salt Lake is a cesspool. I need to go look that up. That's interesting. Dustin is shocked that Salter would have flavors other than plain because it's a purist company, because it's very much catering to carnivores, and a lot of carnivores don't do any flavors. Is that what you mean? I did try the coffee, and I must not be getting it right. And he said, I need to find the right water to electrolyte balance for me. And so far I haven't found the right balance for the coffee because the coffee flavor is strong. I was expecting it to taste a little bit more like a caramel cappuccino, but it was very, very much like a coffee, like a black coffee. So I need to keep playing around with that. More to come on that one. Yeah. Yeah, I did not want to know that. Okay, so anyways, what else do I take? I've been taking a B complex. And I find, my favorite companies are Thorne, but what I really like is Pure Encapsulations because people say really good things about them for being clean and pure, but they're very affordable. And when we're taking all these supplements, you could be at $600 a month, easy. So I love that Pure Encapsulations. I love their price point. Their B complex has, mostly, I think that they come in the right version that's easy for us to actually metabolize and absorb. I have some other things I've been willing to try, and I think I'm missing something. I know I'm taking DIM Detox, but speak to a practitioner before taking that because it's not right for everyone. You guys got a half an inch of snow? I'm actually, when you say that, I'm a little bit jealous because we just got wind with snow in it. Okay, let's see here. What other comments did I get this week? Can you float in it, Amaret? Because that would be kind of cool. We just got one of those magnesium float places. If you guys haven't done what I love about Hack Your Health, and I don't know how it's going to be this year, but it used to be that you could go and do some pretty standard biohacking things that I don't personally do in my real life. There's always usually a cold plunge company there. And I don't do cold plunges because I live next to Lake Superior, and just swimming year round in Lake Superior is a cold plunge. So I'm not into the cold plunge thing, but I do it once a year at Hack Your Health. Another thing, they usually have the Good Sauna in a Bag company, which I forget what it's called. Dr. Lisa has a link if anybody's looking for a good sauna. And it's low EMF, and it has some of the wavelengths that go all the way like into your bones to help with blood flow and stuff. And so there's a great sauna company. There's usually a DEXA company, but I haven't seen any emails to sign up for a DEXA. Just fun stuff like that. It's fun to do those things. But one biohack I love, they don't have this there, is the magnesium float. And in town here, I live in a small town, and we just got a magnesium float company. I need to go support her, because if you're local to Duluth, Minnesota, go support her, because I would love for that to stick around, because I think magnesium floats are really good for us. Yeah. Oh, Karen's here. She floated in a magnesium float. I've never been in the lake. It stinks like sulfur and it looks like a swamp. That's so funny. Oh, I had gastric bypass a year ago, and I've tried 2 different GLPs. One was Saxenda and the other one was Wegovy, and I had some issues with both. Now they want me to go on Zepbound. So Kelly, the first one that you tried was like way old. Nobody even knows what that is except for me and you. That one's way old, like where you have to take it like once a day, right? And then there was one before that where you had to take it twice a day. And then Wegovy. So both of those are GLP-1 only. So they're gastro heavy. Zepbound is, and I don't have it right here on top of my head, but I think it's 30% GLP-1 and 70% GIP. And so it's so much less gastro. It is so much gentler, and what people say is, which I haven't personally tried Wegovy, but they say that it's twice as effective without the side effects. But still, for you, go low and slow. And if you need any help, join our radicallyhealthy.com if you haven't already. There's a free community, and I posted in the free community there's a doctor on YouTube who shows you how to split your pens in a safe manner. Because some people, we are not robots. We do not need 1, 2, or 3. Some people need 0.25. Some people need 1.6. And so just if you don't fall in those perfect increments like that, just know you might need a middle spot. And there is a safe way. I believe it's a safe way, because you're not touching the product at all. You're keeping it sterile and isolated and in sterile environment, and then just taking what you need. It requires a little bit of math, but it's not too bad. And then what is the other thing? And the other thing is sometimes when people have issues on these, it's because they have gut healing to do. And the other thing I want to tell you is sometimes doctors will tell you that if you can't cut the standard dosing, then this isn't the medicine for you. And that is a doctor who hasn't done research, because we are not robots. We are all different. We are all metabolizing this different. So one person can literally inject 15 milligrams and feel nothing. And then you got my husband who can't barely handle 1 milligram. So we are all metabolizing this different. So it is not true. If your doctor tells you you have to take the standard dose, and if you can't cut it, this isn't the medicine for you. No, that's not the doctor for you. And then the other thing is that sometimes this means we got to heal our gut. So, and you have a couple routes there. One would be, if you give it some time, like find a dose that doesn't aggravate your body and stay there for a while. And over time, because of the reduced inflammation and other things and the improvement of hormone communication, it can help heal up your gut. But if it doesn't, there are other things you can look into to actually heal the gut. But don't do toxic protocols that make you sick, because that's not actually healing your gut. Yes, I'm sure you'll get to meet Karen. Ellie, you should totally come over on Thursday. Rachel would love to get a DEXA scan. I know. I wish that they had them there. They usually have DEXAs. Oh, Michelle can't come. She had something come up like pretty serious and she couldn't come. So she doesn't get to come to the sorority house. It is all women. And I'm kind of glad that it turned out to be all women, although I'm not anti-man. It's just, how do you arrange the rooms? And also we have matching pajamas, and how do you do that with a dude? And does he want the eye masks that I brought? I don't know. It would have been different. But dudes are welcome. I did have a plan for if a guy signed up on how to do that, but it definitely wasn't a room sharing situation. I was told to take B12 when I started tirzepatide. I didn't pay attention until I had a lab. Oddly, my B12 was way low. I don't know if it's because of the tirzepatide per se, but I think B12 is really helpful. No, there is a correlation, and I can't think of what it is at this moment, but there can be a correlation. And then when we bring that B12 up, it can help with the energy, because some people on tirzepatide feel very low energy. Yes, Rachel's coming to the sorority. I hope you can hit more events in 2026. And Keto Palooza's back on track, baby. Is that going to be in October again? Do you know when it is, Dustin? Because I loved that event. Autumn is an amazing event planner. But Dustin, I'm a little bit feeling like you. The Hack Your Health thing, I planned that a year and a half ago. But this is, I guess I have meat stock. But I love going to the Two Crazy Ketos cruises. Like, they are my favorite thing in the whole wide world. And we're not going this year just because it just isn't a good financial decision. But yeah, I love. If anybody hasn't gone, the Two Crazy Ketos cruises are probably my favorite event of the year. Then Dr. Lisa has cruises is super good. I also have been on bariatric vitamins for 5 years, but I have been trying to do carnivore for the last 2.5. I want to stop taking the multivitamins and wonder what I should take. So I would get your levels checked. But that's the thing, is I think there's a difference between a blood serum level and what's actually entering your tissue. So that's where it's like, this is why I want to go to nursing school, so I could give you a better answer. When I went off of the bariatrics, I had gone on to, and you don't have to buy this specific brand, but I went on to Paul Saladino's line, his different supplements. But then I realized we don't necessarily need to take his supplements every day because it's everything we need and it's so bioavailable. So there's some research that's being done, but overall, when it comes from a meat source or an organ source, it's in a bioavailable form. And some of those synthetic vitamins, but that's not medical advice. No. It's going to be a fun weekend. I really want to come to Hack Your Health, but your husband has to travel for work. It would have been epic if you came. It would have, it feels like you are there. Yeah, I'm going to try for meat stock though, and it's drivable. Yes. Meat stock is amazing. Rachel hasn't had any side effects. BPC is a really good one for helping heal the gut. It is amazing. This girl went from every single time she was eating, I was getting a food reaction every single time. And there were times I cried. This went on for like a year. There was times I cried where I was like, I'm just going to give up eating because my food reactions were so bad and they were making me keel over and want to just go to bed. And today I can eat just about anything. And I don't want to screw it up and grow bad bacteria, so I should not eat anything except fermented, non-GMO, things, and not regrow that bad bacteria back. But there were things I was doing because of it was healthy. I bet we're all in this boat. I was throwing almonds in the blender in my protein shakes. I was throwing chia seeds in there. I was throwing kale in there. I do have to admit, a local company makes really good kale. But other than them, there is no kale for Adrian. I was eating really, really high anti-nutrient foods, and I was blending them up and drinking them, and then wondering why my stomach hurt so bad. Yeah, Michelle can't come to Meat Stock either. You know what you need to come to, Michelle? And I'm not kidding you. You need to come to the Karen Miles Chicago meetup. It's my favorite meetup of the year. Don't be mad, Scott. Better than Meat Stock, better than Hack Your Health. The Karen Miles meetup is where it's at because it's really intimate. And it's also very affordable, where these other things can be $1 bajillion. So Karen Miles meetup, it's usually in June in Chicago. And I'm not joking. That's my favorite meetup. Adrian's sorority house. It's in October, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Oh, that's right. The Two Crazy Ketos birthday cruise is at the same exact time as the Keto Palooza. Sorry, Dustin. I pick a beach. If we can go. Potatoes. So I'm not sure what she was asking there, but I've personally added some potato back and it has been surprisingly okay. That was one of the first foods I cut when I was losing my first 100 pounds from 300 to 200. I cut the grains, the potatoes, and I was eating, greens and chicken, eggs, greens and chicken, and I cut that a long time ago, and I was very shocked to find how tolerable it is. There is some science, though, behind Jay Feldman and Mike Fave. They actually say not to add the starchy stuff back first. They actually say we should be eating more fruit, and there's some science behind that, and I can't repeat it at this moment. It's something I've been meaning to really catch up on, but Eat Like a Human per Bill Schindler. Uh-oh. That went really fast. Is there something in the functional medicine where there are sources you can take and become, courses and become certified and start practice? So I definitely see a lot of people in this space, and there are a lot of certifications for being a functional coach. And I don't think that's a bad thing, except that you're constantly having to not only do the coaching, but also constantly having to attract the clients or the patients. And we all work with Emily from Elevate Health and Hormones. She has the best certifications, and I hope her practitioner doesn't watch this. I actually think Emily is so much more like, she spoke my language. She had such solutions, and it seemed to me like she had more solutions than the provider did. So she hires a provider to, do the prescriptions, and they're on every call, and they're the ones in charge of the medicine, but she's on there. And I'm telling you that she's just so on it. And she's so I think that I could do a lot of education and be Emily, but ultimately I still have to work with and under a provider. And I would love to just be free. Like, I honestly think Emily could do it on her own. She absolutely could do it on her own. She knows how to read the labs and everything. There's another thing that we can do where you can get a certificate to read labs, but again, you're doing it underneath a practitioner. But I think the biggest problem with coaching is the burnout of having to not only serve your patients, but also find your patients. And then you have these ebbs and flows. And it would be nice to be part of a functional practice or join integrative medicine. Or I know that my heart is for healing autoimmune conditions, mental health, which are totally separate things, and weight. So I'm thinking I'm going to end up in hormones and weight. But I got to tell you, there's a piece of my heart that's neonatal too. That's midwife. It'd be really cool to be and you don't actually need to be a nurse practitioner to be a midwife. When we did our home birth, we actually hired an unlicensed practitioner on purpose because that's allowed in the state of Minnesota. And we did that because the licensed practitioners required certain schedules to be followed, and they required a lot of documentation, and they required masking in your own house. And it was like, wow, you're way too controlled. And I liked my practitioner was free to practice the way she had studied, and she was so well studied. She on multiple occasions helped birth twins that were breech. She's amazing. So there's a lot of space, and I'm going to pray on it and have God guide me on how I can best serve people, because that's ultimately what I want to do. I want to serve people, and I want to really, really help them and give them solutions. And when one solution doesn't work, then, that must be because of this, and let's run that lab, and then, this, and then, have you heard of this? And yeah, but that also just comes with time and practice, and I'm willing to take that time. One of my friends, she is about to retire as a teacher at 55 in New York, and she's so young. Life is just getting started. So the other thing is, do you become a doctor? And I'm a doctor at 50, but life's just getting started. I don't know. Kale is for decoration. Yes, it is. I can't believe we started eating kale. Someone out there is making up crazy things just to see how gullible people are. If you eat this green stuff, you'll get skinny. And we were all eating the green stuff, and it tasted terrible. The reason it's good at our local place, there's a local restaurant that sources all of the food locally, either from a greenhouse, since it snows here 6 months of the year, or, local production, local meat. All the sauces are made by them. Everything is very handmade and local. And they get this kale, they cook it in butter or olive oil, and then they put this homemade curry sauce on top. So it's just loaded with fat and flavor, and it's cooked down, and it's so good. And it's called the Duluth Grill if you ever come to my town. Meat stock is out of reach for so many. Yeah. I'm shouting out your meetup because it's really good. It's really good. And what's really cute about some of the more quaint ones is, and I think everybody loves this, I think this is a fun part of being part of community, is often people will bring something to share with people. So a lot of people knew my kids were coming, and a bunch of people brought little goodies for them to keep them active. Or some people brought stickers. Some people brought heavy whipping cream, but they just a little something. It doesn't have to be crazy or expensive, but just a little something to just share to the group and be part of the group. And I feel like when we get to share, you get to really be part of the group and getting to know each other. We go on a hike together, and we breathe the fresh air, and then it's so much fun. Okay, you're going to pedicure. Good for you. I'm going El Natural because every time I get those, my nails get really thin and icky. And so you guys just get to see my dishes. And I still, when they get long, I still bite them. I know I need to get over that. Okay. So you're supposed to ferment potatoes before cooking because they're very toxic. That's interesting. I heard that if we cook them, refrigerate them, and cook them again, it breaks down the toxicity. I don't know if that's true. And I heard, is it the same with rice? Talking Chandra into 2 crazy ketos cruise because the balcony cabins are dirt cheap, but it like $1,600 for 7 nights. But she's not going on a boat. So as a person who had food reactions, who used to get car sick, who my husband was going to propose in a helicopter, and I got so motion sick that I was green for days. I was afraid of the ship. So I preemptively put on a patch. I got prescription patches. And I was like, the whole time I was like, guys, do you feel that? And they were like, no, and you're shaking back and forth. And I was like, I am? I think it's the boat. And they were like, no, it's you. Day 3, it was time to swap the patch out. I take that patch on, I put the new one on, and the motion sickness got so bad I couldn't even walk. It was so bad. So I took the patch off because I didn't know what to do. I was like, this isn't helping at all. And I got better. And I've never been motion sick on a boat, not one time, except for when I wore the patch. The patch made me sick. And the last boat we went on was a tiny, tiny, tiny boat. You could almost touch one side to the other. And when we were swinging back and forth, the water in the pool was going like this. That's how small the boat was. No motion sickness. So I love boats. I surprisingly can handle them. And I got the bravery because Rachel's in the same boat. She's also very sensitive, and she's not sensitive on boats. So when she said that, I was like, okay, where do I sign up for your cruise? Maybe it'll be okay. I am a proper human diet health coach in the class currently. I'm worried about attracting clients when it's time, but I'm sure I'll figure it out. You have a great YouTube channel. So hopefully, it's hard. It's really, I thought it, I watched Dr. Lisa and I watched Kelly, and I was like, oh, that looks easy. No, it's hard. and exhausting to continually try to find people you can help, because somehow you have to speak to them and show them that you can you have something that they want. My mother-in-law signed up with Emily. Yay. I want my whole family to work with Emily. In fact, I've had my kids checked by her. And she gave very interesting info that I then brought to our allopathic doctors who had no idea what I was talking about. And so I was really grateful to get her opinion. I'm currently on 4 milligrams compounded tirzepatide, still having sugar cravings a lot. Thinking of going up in dose or not. Okay, this is not medical advice. Some of us need more, first of all. Secondly, some of us need to hit more pathways. So for me, and this doesn't work for everyone, and this isn't medical advice, and you got to do research, but a lot of people in my group report that when they use cagrilintide, and just a microdose. Some people need higher doses, but some people, like me, I can get away with literally 0.25 milligrams a week. It changed everything. And so I'm making it sound like I'm loading up on all these peptides, but what taking a low dose of that did was open up another pathway, another signaling pathway to the brain. It's the amylin pathway. So you're antagonizing GIP, you're antagonizing GLP, and there's another pathway, the amylin pathway. And when you get those three pathways working better, I mean, I'm telling you, I can eat a fruit snack and walk away. Organic Annie's fruit snack, okay? With no artificial color sweeteners or flavors. Not to say that I'm eating tons of fruit snacks, but I have had fruit snacks and I can literally eat a fruit snack and walk away. On cagrilintide, we had Halloween and I looked at the candy and I was like, ew. And I can say ew because you just know it's not the same candy we ate. It's all full of like wax and artificial stuff and flavors and it just doesn't even look good. And then I just think of the blood sugar issues. But anyway, opening up another pathway can be a great ticket or trying going up in dose. So why we like the idea of the additional pathway is if we're hammering two pathways really hard. So this is the problem with semaglutide. You're hitting one pathway really, really, really hard. Now, it's a very resilient pathway. The GLP is a very resilient pathway. It's showing to not have very much adaptation or like you're not building up a ton of antibodies towards that pathway by hitting that pathway. It's a pretty resilient pathway. So if we're hitting one pathway really hard though, we're hitting one pathway really hard. If we were to tone it down and hit three pathways a bit lighter, it's a bit gentler on the body, but it's also more medicinal in just getting everything to communicate better. So that's what a lot of us have done. But it's, if you want vetted sources, go to the free community at radicallyhealthy.com because they are deleting people like me for talking about this on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook. Literally, you will just come one day and your account is just gone. So if I were to say my company's right here, gone. Is there a connection between autoimmune and mental health? 100%. Because I think both autoimmune and mental health have a base of inflammation. The base root is your immune system is not, there's an inflammation piece. And it caught your body, your immune system then goes like, how do we turn this back off appropriately? And it's struggling to. So if we can reduce inflammation, so I have these white spots all over my body. Let's see if I can find one. Hold on. There's one. You see the white spot? That's my body attacking the skin. Since I started the GLP, I swear to you, my spots have gotten less. I used to have, I swear, it felt like 100. And now I'm down to like 5. And we were looking at 2 spots that I have on my stomach and my hip, and they're repigmenting. So the GLP-1 reduced my inflammation. Reduced inflammation allows the immune system to work better. And the other thing was a lot of people will say that their mental health gets better when they reduce their inflammation. A great way to say this is when people go on a keto and a carnivore diet, they're like, wow, my mental health has never been this good, because they're not eating things that are inflaming their brain or their body. And for me, the additional taking a GLP-1 reduced that inflammation as well. Usually we are in Europe in June, you fancy girl. Thank you. I would love for you to achieve your dreams as well. Dream number 1, and you guys probably can imagine that this is happening, but I'm not going to say on a daily basis, but on a weekly basis, I look at my kids and I cry because I've had some health issues. I have, and there is something weird going on with my body, and sometimes it's so bad. And my mom came over one day, my stepmom, and she was like, what's wrong? And I'm like, oh, I'm like this every month. I just don't leave the house or talk to anybody when this happens. And she went home and she cried, and she came back the next day and she said, you got to figure this out. There's something wrong. And I'm like, I know, I've been trying to tell you guys. I know. So there's something really wrong. But even then, I was blessed enough to get 4 babies, and I actually had 5 babies, but this one we lost at 20 weeks. But God gave me 5 babies, and that is such a blessing. And I just look at them and they are my first dream, getting to be a mom. That's my first dream. And my second dream is, I guess I think I will be a better mom too, if I show them that what good we can do in the world and how we can serve other people. So I hope you achieve your dream. I think your number 1 dream is very similar to mine too, and you're doing a great job. You are looking great. I just started microdosing through my endo. And you've been clean ketovore for 3 years on week 3, and I'm still gaining weight. So microdosing for weight loss is not usually a thing. So if a person is struggling with their weight, they usually aren't, their natural GLP-1 isn't communicating very well with the pancreas and the brain if you're struggling already. So people who have that struggle, they usually need more of a dose. Now, a person like my husband who only thinks about eating every 24 hours, his natural GLP-1 is getting to his brain really good. So he only needed itty bitty bits. And why did we put him on it? Because he was having inflammation. He's having some signs of insulin resistance. He's having high blood pressure. So he was having these he has these black circles under his eyes where people think that I'm beating him. Not seriously, but they're like, it is crazy. If I had the black circles and somebody came up to me and said, "Are you okay?" Like, I think people are more couth about speaking to women that way, but literally every day someone comes up to my husband and says, "Are you okay?" Like, they just have no filter. Like, it's totally okay to like make fun of a person's face. So anyway, he needed a microdose. I need more of a standard dose. So a lot of people need more. And in our group is, I'd say 99% carnivore. There are people who have lost a decent amount of weight on just a very low dose. But a lot of people have had to go up, and some people even all the way to the top. But what we're seeing in the group, because they're combining it with lifestyle, once they get to their goal, they are able to titrate back down. So people in my group, there hasn't been a person that I know of yet that has been stuck at the top dose and just stuck there. People often will come back down. So even if you have to go up in dose, don't take it by harm to yourself. Don't think negatively of yourself. You don't get to choose how you metabolize it. Some things we can do to metabolize it better is ensure you're not drinking alcohol while you're on a weight loss journey, because that affects your gut biome and your enzymes, and it increases an enzyme called DPP4, which breaks down GLP-1. So I'm not saying I don't personally drink, but people who do, I don't really care. It's just not going to go very well on a weight loss journey. Another thing is to watch your stress and get sleep and drink your water and get your protein in. Sorry, that's all. 29 things. I know you want to hear from Adrian on your question. My 2 cents is that the study doses are 2 and 5. Some people, like, there's been times when I've been an in-between dose. Like, I'm not following the standard schedule. People don't realize tirzepatide has a 5-day half-life. Semaglutide, Ozempic, has a 7-day half-life. So they're kind of just picking the 7 because that's what these guys are doing, and also for patient adherence. It's easier for me to remember to do something on Monday versus, what day do I take that again? But the fact of the matter is tirzepatide has a 5-day half-life, and I was feeling it. I was dropping off. And so I personally lowered my dose a little and take it every 5 days, and then it never falls off, and it stacks better and it feels better for me. We made carnivore ice cream in the lobby of the hotel, drank a bunch of seltzer, and played Who's That Carnivore in the lobby after the meetup. That was super fun. And I should ask the local people if anybody has a Ninja Creamy, because I can bring my containers, but I don't think my Ninja Creamy is going to fit in my suitcase, but I might see if it can, because a Ninja Creamy is so good. I don't know. I'm already fitting the red light in there. I'm bringing, I have a Well red light, and I'm going to bring that in case anybody wants to get some therapy. Just 10 minutes a day does the trick. It's not motion sickness it's being in the middle of the ocean, hundreds of miles from land. Aw. Thank you, Michelle. She said, "You be you. Hack Your Health will not be having DEXA scans this year." Oh, that was like a major thing. And they made so much money because they filled the whole schedule filled up. And there was another thing that was really cool. If you walk in and you can find the ozone people, I don't know if they do this every year, but I know one year, the day one in the morning, they took signups, and you could sign up to get blood removed. Then they put ozone in your blood, and then they put the blood back in, and so you could get ozonated. And I didn't know about it, so I missed it, but that's kind of cool. Retatrutide, but not approved yet. Yeah, retatrutide is another one where we have another path that we're hitting, and it hits totally different than tirzepatide. And they're saying that retatrutide is muscle preserving, helps with visceral fat, helps heal your gut even more. It's showing to be amazing, and it doesn't have the side effects of the other ones. I'm resisting to go up because it can cause desensitizing of the receptors. That is, so I think it depends on the person. I think some people literally have GLP-1 resistance. And so when they titrate up, they just build a bigger resistance. And that's really scary, of course, right? But if there was a person who was going to have GLP-1 resistance, I was worried it was going to be me, because my food noise often is every single minute. Every minute telling myself, nope, you're good. Nope, you're good. Nope, you're good. No, every minute. And the other thing is, when you have gastric bypass and they remove a portion of your intestine, it puts food deep into the intestine that's really heavy in GLP-1 production. So initially you can see a GLP-1 production increase. And over time, it shows that people end up more and more resistant to GLP-1. So I was worried I would have GLP-1 resistance. But here's what happened for me. When I coupled it with lifestyle, which for me was eating carnivore, and it doesn't have to be the same for everybody else, but I like meat. It was what made me most comfortable. It was what I wanted to do. So I ate carnivore and I coupled it with a GLP-1, and that helped me stay on a lower dose, because meat is so filling. It keeps you from things that are bingy. It keeps you from veering off plan. You get all your protein in. It's nutrient dense. So that helped me stay on a lower. I ended up going up to 7.5, which isn't the highest, and I have been able to go down. And so I feel so, but again, every body is different. And I know that there are different cases when you look throughout different groups that have been surveyed, that some people, let's say, go off GLP-1 and they come back on it hoping to be resensitized, and they're not. But some people go off and come back on and they are resensitized. So we have different things going on in different bodies. What I would say is just take your time. And when you hit a point where you're like, you know what, I want to try a higher dose. For me, that was like 6 months in. So I'm doing all the lifestyle things so I can stay as low as possible for 6 months. And at 6 months, I was like, what is this like reduction of food noise you guys are even talking about? Because I never really had that. I don't even know what you guys are talking about. I just know I snack less, but I can still eat a lot, and I still have to avoid everything because I will still overeat all of that. And somebody said, why are you stuck on your number? Just go up. And I went up like 2 milligrams or something, 1.5 milligrams, and it was the ticket. And it was a totally different experience being able to go up. It was a totally different experience. But the concern is if you go up, 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 and you're just leaning on having that heavy appetite suppression, that's where people get into trouble. But if you're coupling it with lifestyle and you're being cautious like you are, I think you're going to be okay. But just go up slow, listen to yourself, talk to your doctor, and couple it with lifestyle and eating lots of meat. If we eat lots of protein shakes, bars, supplements like that, those aren't filling things. Eat meat, eat eggs, eat those filling things, and that's going to help you stay on a lower dose. Thank you so much for your openness and kindness. I'm glad I found you. I'm glad you found us too. And you guys are also helpful in the chat. I think with that, I'm going to sign off. I had other great comments I was going to tell you guys about, but I think we've done a great job for the day. I look forward to seeing some of you guys at Hack Your Health. I can't wait. I hope you guys have a great week and that you travel safe. And for those of you who are staying home, I hope to see you at a meetup soon, whether it's a big one or a small one. It doesn't matter. It's just community is part of your healing. Community is part of your health. They say the worst thing you can do is isolate yourself. We need people, we need each other. And that to me is the best part of this whole healing journey, is getting to have people and getting to have community, because I haven't had that in like 20 years. So thank you guys so much for coming in. I really appreciate you. On your way out, if you guys could give this a like, a subscribe, and a share, I'd really appreciate it. Bye.